The 2025-26 A-League men's campaign is just around the corner. And of course, all the clubs have been very busy over the last few months recruiting for this upcoming campaign. In today's video, we're going to take a look at my top 10 individual player signings from this past transfer window. And we'd love to hear from you guys as well. Which players are you really excited to see in the A-League men's this year? Let's jump into the list. 10th place for me, Takeshi Kanamori at Melbourne City. Fantastic signing. He brings versatility to Melbourne City, capable of playing as a striker, as a winger, attacking midfield, and he's bringing so much experience as well. So many appearances in the top flight in Japan. He's a quality signing, and I think a needed signing as well, because we know Melbourne City, they lost some quality attacking players from last season with the likes of Mark Attilio, Jonas and Cohen departing. So Takeshi Kanamori bringing that quality, that experience to that City attack. Great signing here for Melbourne City. Juan Mata is on my list as well. He's in at 9th place. Huge signing, of course, for Melbourne Victory. World Cup winner, former Chelsea, Manchester United player. A phenomenal signing here for Melbourne Victory. And I think this will turn out to be a really successful move for both Juan Mata and Melbourne Victory, especially compared to what we saw last season at Western Sydney Wanderers, where he was spending a lot of time on the bench. I think Juan Mata will suit Victory's style of play a lot better. I think he'll, with the departure of Zinedine Machash in that number 10 role at Melbourne Victory, Juan Mata could come in and play that position that Machash was playing as an attacking midfielder, a different kind of player, obviously, but he could play in that position for Victory this season. So I will expect that he'll get more game time at Melbourne Victory this season compared to what we saw last time out at Western Sydney Wanderers. So I think it is a great signing for Melbourne Victory. And of course, we'll bring, even more fans to the games there at AAMI Park for Melbourne Victory. Jumping into 8th place, I've got Ji Dong Won at Macarthur FC. Very experienced striker, high quality striker, has got so much experience. He's played at such a variety of leagues as well. Check out some of the teams he's played for around the world. He's had an incredible career, and he's bringing this valuable experience to Macarthur's front line. And he could be a serious contender for the Golden Boot this season. Look, Macarthur, we know they needed to sign another striker as well. Valerie Germain, he was there last season, but of course departed halfway through the campaign. They've got Harry Sawyer there, and Ji Dong Won will provide some great competition for Harry Sawyer in that forward position for the Bulls. I think it's a top signing, and I think he's set for a really, really big campaign, especially, Ji Dong Won, I'm sure, is going to love playing alongside the likes of, Anthony Caceres, especially, who will be, probably providing those assists for Macarthur SC this season. So there's some really exciting attacking combinations that could develop there at Macarthur SC. So I think it is a great signing there also. Heading into 7th spot for me is Max Burgess at Newcastle Jets. I think a big reason why I have put Max in this list is because of what he did for Newcastle Jets in their incredible Australia Cup run, winning the Australia Cup for 2025. And Max Burgess was the key to the Jets' success in this tournament. He was so influential, scoring goals, setting up goals, and has sort of been unleashed. He's playing this free role in midfield. That Mark Milligan has allowed Max Burgess the freedom here to really show his talent, to show his abilities. And he's already showing us that at Newcastle Jets. And again, just looking at what he's done already in the Australia Cup for the Jets, it's just crazy to think that he was completely frozen out of the squad at Sydney FC last season. So because of that as well, Newcastle Jets, what a signing for that club. And I said before, Ji Dong Won maybe could be a contender for Golden Boot. When it comes to Johnny Warren medal as well, Max Burgess, I think he could be a contender for Johnny Warren medal in terms of one of the best players in the competition. Huge campaign coming up for Max Burgess at Newcastle Jets. We are heading back to Macarthur SC for 6th spot here in my list. Damien De Silva at Macarthur FC. Incredible signing. I think a really, really great piece of business here by Macarthur SC. Damien Silva, A-League fans, you might remember the name. He was only at Melbourne Victory a year or two ago, and this is really going to strengthen that backline for Macarthur FC. Of course, he brings so much experience and quality to that backline now to the Bulls, playing alongside whether it's Tommy Uskok or Matt Yeoman. And look, Macarthur were a little bit leaky at times last season, conceding goals. So great signing to bring in a quality defender like this. We saw during his brief stint at Melbourne Victory how good he was. He was one of the best centre-backs in the league when he was at Victory. Huge signing here for Macarthur SC, and I think this signing could really help the Bulls push up the ladder this season. Fantastic signing. Sticking with the defenders, in 5th place for me, the top 5, I have Brian Kaltak at Perth Glory. This is a phenomenal signing by Perth Glory. A player who, when he departed Central Coast Mariners, a lot of us may be expecting Brian Kaltak to head overseas. He's at Perth Glory now. What a signing for Glory. This team who were conceding so many goals last season. And you sign one of the best centre-backs in the A-League in the last few years. Think about all the trophies that he helped Mariners win in the last few years, the treble a couple of years ago. Back-to-back A-League champions with Central Coast Mariners. Brian Kaltak, huge signing for Perth Glory. If Glory wanted to sort out their defensive issues, if you could pick one defender to sign, Brian Kaltak is probably up there at the top of the list in terms of realistic defensive signings for Perth Glory. And look, I mean, I say realistic, but not many of us probably expected Brian Kaltak to be heading over to Perth Glory. It's an incredible signing for Perth this season. Jumping over to Western Sydney Wanderers now. I am really excited for Wanderers fans because I think the signing of Angus Thurgate is really going to help this Wanderers side. I think it's going to help them maintain their position towards the top end of the ladder because your Wanderers here have brought in one of the best midfielders in the A-League, at least from last season. He was at Western United last campaign. And look, when we got the news that Western United were not going to be involved in this upcoming A-League season, I think a lot of us were looking at Angus Thurgate in particular in regards to where is he going to go next. Because I'm sure every club in the competition was ringing up Angus Thurgate's agent to see if he was available. Wanderers have won the race, and it is a huge signing here for Western Sydney Wanderers. Great replacement as well for Oscar Priestman, who we know has departed over to Motherwell in Scotland. So Angus Thurgate, I mean, set for another huge campaign. If he performs the way he did last season at Western United here for Wanderers, I mean, Wanderers will be set for a great campaign once again. So Angus Thurgate, box-to-box midfielder, he's in fourth place in my list here for the top 10 signings. It's time to talk about the top 3. Here we go. The next one is a very late signing in the transfer window, but for me, it is one of the biggest signings of this past transfer window. And we are heading back to Perth Glory to talk about Tom Lawrence. This is a huge signing, and it came so late. It came outside the window after it closed. It came just last week. Tom Lawrence arriving, look, very close to the A-League season kicking off, which is maybe the only concern. You want to try and get him, sort of acclimatized, I guess, to Australia, playing on the other side of the world here. He was at Rangers in Scotland last year. So, Tom Lawrence, a Welsh international, so much experience in the English Championship as well. Fantastic signing here for Perth Glory. And not just for the reasons I said there, experience with Wales and obviously with some great clubs over in the UK, but he's the kind of play that Perth Glory have been missing in recent seasons, an attacking midfielder, sort of like a number 10. We know he can play out in a wide position as well, Tom Lawrence, but we could see him utilized in that number 10 role. And something that I do see a lot of Perth Glory fans saying is that they haven't really had that kind of attacking midfield player since Diego Castro back in the 2010s. Have they finally found their star attacking midfield player here, Perth Glory, Tom Lawrence? Could he be the player to really unlock things for Perth Glory and finally lift them up into a finals position, possibly? I think it could prove to be a really top-class signing here. I'm very impressed with Perth Glory bringing in someone of the quality of Tom Lawrence over to the A-League. Again, he was playing it, in Scotland at Rangers last season. So, phenomenal signing for Perth Glory for me. Second place in my list is Anthony Caceres, another attacking midfielder. It's a huge signing for the Bulls. This is a player who, year after year, has been one of the top midfielders in the competition. Huge move as well, coming over from rival Sydney FC. It's a big loss for the Sky Blues and a massive, massive boost here, a massive win for Macarthur SC. And as you guys have seen, the Bulls have featured a few times now on my list, and I think the transfer window has been incredible. And it's a big reason why I think Macarthur will be one of the top teams this competition. They have seriously strengthened their side from what they had last season. They had a good team last season, some good players in that squad. Weren't able to make finals. But with the signings that they have made here, they are set for success. And Anthony Caceres is going to be the key to that success for the Bulls this season. I think it's a top signing. He'll be, really unleashed in that attacking midfield role for Macarthur SC. And again, linking up with Ji Dong-won in a forward position. I think it's a great signing here for Macarthur SC. And I can see him really succeeding at the Bulls this season. But it is time to jump into my number 1 signing of this transfer window. And for me, we are heading to Melbourne Victory to talk about Denny Genreau. Huge Huge move here for Melbourne Victory to recruit Socceroos midfielder Denny Jean-Rowe, who has spent the last few years over in Europe. He was at Macarthur SC a number of years back, but now back in the A-League with Melbourne Victory. This is a huge signing. Not just Melbourne Victory, but for the A-League, because he's a top player, Denny Jean-Rowe, and maybe he could have continued his career at a club somewhere in Europe. You know, he's a very talented player, midfielder. But he's returned to the A-League here, and I just wonder if part of the thinking for Denny Jean-Rowe is an eagerness maybe to get back into the Socceroos squad. You know, the World Cup, less than a year away now. And Denny Jean-Rowe possibly keeping an eye on the A-League from overseas and seeing the number of players performing in the A-League who have been called up to the A-League, to the Socceroos squad. Tony Popovic has loved calling up players from the A-League. Looking at the likes of, Ryan Teague, Nishan Velupale, Anthony Caceres, Luke Bratton. If you perform in the A-League, it will seriously put you in contention for a spot in the Socceroos squad. And Denny Jean-Rowe, I'm sure he's set for a lot of game time at Melbourne Victory and could be the star player for them this season. Look, we spoke about Juan Mata. Curious to see whether those two guys play together, how they sort of fit together, whether they sort of share that attacking midfield role. We'll see. But Denny Jean-Rowe, man, I think he could be one of the real stars of this upcoming A-League season at Melbourne Victory. And for him just individually, I'm sure he'll be really pushing to be in that World Cup spot, to be in that World Cup squad next year. Fantastic signing. So there's my list. Drop your favorite signings from this transfer window in the comments section and stay subscribed. We'll be doing a lot of A-League content over the coming weeks. The season is about to get underway. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.